The Wade and Carter Show is a paid program at KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears no responsibilities for their opinions and guests.
Front State of the Union address. We're Neanderthals, y'all. All that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show. Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Sunshiny day. Let's do this.
Just like that, the four-play free Wade and Carter weather brought to you by
The great folks at
Deerland Feed. For everything you need, folks, there's Deerland Feed. It's not just a simple saying, although we're a simple bunch. The truth is, everything you need is at Deerland Feed. I'll bet you as a human being, you could find something to eat there as well. Something.
Well, you eventually you have to plant it and let it grow, but
Right now,
eventually it'll be there.
Go by and get your seeds. They've got the best
Yeah.
seeds. I remember them explaining that seed quality matters a lot. Number one, in yield, and number two, in the quality of the plant that's produced. 46 degrees in Victoria today, heading to a sunny day and a high of 73, closer than we've ever been. Victoria Economic Development Corp, day of the month. Let's party in Big V, the hot spot of the crossroads. Lots going on today, folks. There's some anger. There's some anger in this room today, some disillusionment, some confusion. It's what happens with Democrat leadership. Leadership being used as a term in quotation marks.
I'm trying to see where
I know you are. I can see what you're trying to do.
trying to get the video up there.
You're reminding me of people. There's people that
don't forget to like and share the video, folks. Bring others to this wonderful content-driven media source. Scott Snow, first one in. Good morning to you. Richard King, Judge Posey, Chris Conrad, Kendra Douglas, Bob Watley,
Bobcat Watley. Good morning, Judge Posey, sir.
David Glass checking in. Lisa Poole. I think we've got our levels adjusted where they need to be. Bobby Leister. Good morning. Terry Murray checking in. Jeremy Pena. Greg Garcia. The Iceman is in.
Ice.
Patrick Strauss. Bobby Leister. The Leisterometer says we're still at 7:31.
Those two Russians died last week.
Yeah, they did.
Matt Boucher, good morning, sir.
He'll be in here tomorrow morning.
He likes to tune in to see how he's getting maligned. You know, winter's over.
Lisa Poole's not getting Facebook notifications. Next to the Wade and Carter, when you subscribe, there's a little bell that has to be on.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. You know how you know we're here at 7. Why do you need a notification?
Well, it just helps. See, but it says.
I don't know why Lisa Poole's up. She's a retired teacher. I mean, I'd at least sleep till 7:30.
BJ Nelson says Thursday is her favorite day of the week. I'm
Is
thinking,
it really?
That work week or the 5-day work week? Because that can't include Saturday and Sunday. I wouldn't think.
I don't know. Tuesday is my least favorite. Number one, it's usually a terrible news day. And number two, it's just the day after Monday, and I'm just buried. It's my second Monday every week.
Christina Wise, Justin Glass, Diane Tippett, and let's see who else is in this morning. Daniel White, good morning to you. Scott Tomko, Adam Daughtry, Andy Rhea Jr., Marvin Mickish, Heather Monroe, Robin Morgan-Knipling, Gary Schmeckel.
Monroe, M-U-N-R-O. Very efficient.
Man, we got a good group this
morning. We have a great
group.
A great group of American patriots. Lots to talk about today. What do you want to start with Washington's football team?
Yeah, let's start there because this one made no sense to, as we rebrand, I mean, you had to listen to the BS to begin with. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of the term Redskins, and I'm using it in this case just for context, but even when I used to be doing sports reports full-time, or not full-time, but on another radio station when I was doing that, I always referred to them as Washington. I consciously made a decision not to use what I consider a derogatory term as their nickname.
Well, it's not like, not in defense of the Redskins, but it's also not like they called them the Washington Drunken Apaches either. It's not like they called them the Washington reservation raiders. It wasn't designed to be demeaning. It just was not designed with any empathy. Is that fair? It wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody named their football team to put down a race.
No, probably not, because that would go against why you would name a team. Right?
Exactly. But
yeah.
When they changed it to the Washington football team, it actually made sense to me. It's kind of caught on with me to where I wouldn't even change it to a nickname. It's kind of like saying the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of there. But this one makes no sense when they're
before you do it, folks. When Ash and I agree on something, because we come at things from very different angles, we're right. When he and I agree, the conclusion we come to is correct. It's just the way it's been since we started the show.
But only a football team in Washington, D.C. would have a preamble like they did in doing this, right? Well, as we rebrand and try to become more politically correct, blah, 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 blah.
The oldest cheerleader troop group team in the NFL. Since 1962, the Washington Redskins / football team cheerleaders have roamed the sidelines of the stadium. And they are no more.
Critics might say they grazed.
Some of them were big girls, hefty girls, but they're being replaced by a co-ed dance team. No confirmation yet that Rachel from Health and Human Services is going to be involved, but could be. Could fill 2 spots, check 2 boxes, got a dude and a girl right there. They're putting in a co-ed dance team in the place of the cheerleaders, literally stated in an effort to continue to rebrand ourselves. I guess cheerleaders are sexist. I guess cheerleaders are, I don't know, exploitative. Maybe they can't, maybe they have been. They sure have sold a lot of posters. I bet you don't sell a lot of co-ed dance team posters.
No, probably not.
But Ash and I came to this obvious conclusion. Given that cheerleaders aren't paid anything.
No,
probably,
they usually they some of them even have to buy their own uniforms.
Yes, but right? There's always more supply than demand at tryout time. Why not just Chris Conrad comes in with an obvious, why not have co-ed cheerleaders? Will Ferrell jumps to mind.
No,
why not just add a co-ed dance team? Why not actually create a job?
Or 38 of them, because I think that's how many members are going to be on this team, 38.
Why
so you just got rid
not?
of probably, a couple dozen cheerleaders.
I can tell you this, the University of Texas has co-ed cheerleaders and a dance squad.
Yeah.
It ain't rocket science, people.
It's almost a step backward.
It's just
we're not going to provide an opportunity for male cheerleaders. We're just going to get rid of the cheerleaders and have a co-ed dance team.
Just making a statement. The men play football, the women dance on the sidelines. It's misogynistic and sexist and exploitive.
And
maybe.
But
it's been that way for 58 years.
I see more co-ed cheerleader teams roaming the sidelines of college athletics
Absolutely.
than I do co-ed dance teams.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to watch it. And by the way, nobody cares about watching a dance team in an NFL game anyway. Just saying. And there's nobody in the stands.
Well, yeah. But I don't see why you couldn't have 2 of them. 40 members each. You split them into 2 20-member groups.
Now you're being the athletic director.
Now you've got, cheerleaders in this corner of the stadium.
And they rotate.
You've got a dance team in this corner. You go to the other sideline. You've got cheerleaders here. So it's diagonal, and then they rotate. So you're not looking at the same.
Then they go to the visitor side, and they do a cheer for them. 2 bits for the visiting squad.
Firecracker, sis, boom, bah, Bugs Bunny, rah, rah, rah. It's the only cheer I ever learned.
In an unrelated comment, some of the older Washington cheerleaders may try out for the Dallas Cowboys defensive line. I wonder if the Dallas Cowboys will make a statement. Jerry Jones might be smart, honestly, to get ahead of the curve here and add a co-ed dance team. Just add it to the cheerleaders. Why not?
I just don't know that it would work.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just
You've got such a brand Would you if you're the Cowboys, would it water down the brand, or would it just be completely obliterated by the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader
See,
brand?
Gayla Gall says Rachel Levine would be on which team? Well, she tried out for the cheerleaders, but then was summarily dismissed over to the dance squad.
Mark Kurtz checking in.
Hello, Mark. There you go. Oh, yeah. Happy birthday to Caden. Yeah, it's Caden's birthday today.
Christina
13
Wise
years
says
old.
she would not want to see males on the UT dance team in chaps.
Right? I don't know.
What would they become then?
Magic Mike.
The UT Bull Riders?
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, you took a step backwards if you're Washington.
Well,
football
it's
team.
just
you could have added to it
superficial.
and had both. Yeah,
It's just so easy to see. Hello, Alex.
because they're trying to be politically correct. So you just taken away the dreams of young women who want to be a Washington football team cheerleader.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, they're mutually exclusive.
No doubt about it.
Cheering is not the same as dancing. Dancing is not the same as cheering.
No, it's just 38 people.
That's why competitively there's cheer and there's dance.
Right. Cheerleaders got to go because we're going to add dance. There you have it. You know who doesn't care about your politics? Who doesn't care where you're at, why you got there, how you got there? Just only cares about where you want to go.
Who's that?
Allen's Wrecker Service,
Won't judge.
578-6300.
Well, not when
Alan
Alan there.
won't judge.
You might have to, right?
He might
Did you
point
see
out,
this guy?
knowing Alan, he might say, how did your dumb butt get over here? But he will get you out of there. 75-ton crane. They've got all types of flatbed roll-off units to get your vehicle where it needs to go. Dial Allen's Wrecker Service with all your towing opportunities, 578-6300. They are beyond the best of the best. They're simply the standard in the region. Reach out to them.
Absolutely.
Just as the VCS companies, Rock and Roll Field Services, and the only local owner authorized AT&T retailer.
Right there on Kerr Boulevard, providing all of your communication needs, from accessories for your iPhone
Two-way radios.
to intricate communication systems that are secure and will help you communicate with whoever you need to in your business.
If you're a first responder, get in and ask them about the special program they have for first responders. FirstNet, secure network that keeps you online even in down tower times. Chesnick Furniture, 101 years, downtown Victoria. The corner of Juan Lennon Bridge, you just can't go wrong. And that's not even the statement. The statement is you just do better at Chesnick.
Absolutely.
Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Get by there with your loved ones. Pick out a new sofa, love seat, bed. There's Tempur-Pedic bedding. All types of
Accoutrement.
They've got it. It's a little French flair. Get by and see Bobby Leon and his family today. The law offices of Steve Kidder. Steve Kidder making the first break today. Faithful listener, new sponsor, great lawyer. Those words are typically mutually exclusive. But Steve Kidder is the lawyer. He would be the last lawyer on the bus. What do you call it when the bus goes to the bottom of the river and there's an empty seat? That's a tragedy. Steve Kidder, I let him stand on top of the bus. For everything you need, from wills and trusts to civil disputes to you want to adopt a child, you want to punt a spouse, Steve Kidder can help you do all that stuff. Great lawyer, great friend of the show, and a great friend in general. And then, of course, Veracruz. Veracruz is recovering from the mass attack of Caldo Wednesday. But get ready, because Thursday is a great day for a drowning enchilada. They do some carne asada. They do salads. It's a fantastic one. Crispy tacos, chalupas.
Post-Caldo apocalypse.
It's a fine, fine day to
It
be
is.
at Veracruz restaurant. So I'm
going to own the term.
Yeah, I like this.
Joe Biden, yesterday didn't understand the mask or the removal of the mask ordinance in Texas. I think there were many media outlets referring to Texas as the first state to remove its mask ordinance and open up, which I think we're actually like 16th or 17th on the list in this country. Some never shut down, like South Dakota. Florida was quick to reopen, and the numbers are what they are. Certainly no worse than California's, which is still in the throes of a massive lockdown. But Friday, the president was here in the state, and he thanked the governor and Mrs. Abbott for their hospitality and their friendship.
And he said, "And your friendship, like, hey, we're close. You're a Republican governor. I'm a Democrat president, but your friendship means a lot to me."
And then yesterday, in a backhanded slam, referred to the decision by his good friend and hospitable friend, Governor Abbott, as a Neanderthal way of thinking. So he basically called the governor Neanderthal.
He said, "We don't need his Neanderthal way of thinking."
So I'm thinking I'm going to own that term for Texans. We're not going to be Neanderthals. We're Neanderthals.
I like Neanderthal. That would look good on a t-shirt.
We're going to empower it.
Yeah, that would look good on a t-shirt. And somewhere in there, that's got to be like racist or something that he said that about us.
Although he's somewhat correct when you really think about it. Every depiction of a Neanderthal I've ever seen, no mask. No mask.
That's a legit point.
So he's probably factually correct.
Unfortunately, they're also extinct.
Well,
That's a whole different deal. I'm still
Can't be because they
100%.
didn't wear a mask.
You made the comment, no shoes, no shirt, no service, and everybody accepts that. If you walk into a business and they say, hey, I know the governor removed the no mask ordinance, but we're still going to require you to wear a mask. Then as a consumer, you can make the choice. Is the offering of this business good enough that I'm going to go against the way I feel and wear a mask? And if it is, like, for example, if Veracruz says, we want everybody walking through the door to wear a mask, I'm wearing a mask because the food's that good.
Yeah,
I'm going to wear a mask. Now, if it's pick a place that's so-so and they go, nah, it's just not worth the hassle, I don't want to deal with it, then you just walk away. The market will determine. And that's what it should have been all along. We should have never had state government telling us what to do. The business owner should dictate what happens.
Here's the guidelines. Here's our recommendations.
Absolutely. And
what if everybody gets sick? Everybody's been getting sick anyway.
As if you have any real confidence in the leadership to begin with. I've seen audio literally of Dr. Fauci saying, well, the mask is mostly just to placate people's emotions. It makes you feel safer. The mask isn't really doing anything. As Ash pointed out this morning, we're in now week 2 plus 50 since they asked us to take a 14-day lockdown. You remember that? You remember how long ago? Now we're just wondering if we'll ever get off lockdown.
Yeah, we needed 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Remember that? Slow the spread.
Yeah, HEB said yesterday, Adam Daughtry points out, HEB said yesterday, we no longer require our patrons to wear a mask. Now, employees will. Good for them. It protects the employees. Maybe.
And here's the thing: if that's what they require, no different than wearing an HEB T-shirt,
absolutely,
or HEB polo shirt,
part of your uniform. But HEB, with 160,000 employees and by far the largest grocer in the state, the people that control your food source, said that the patrons no longer have to wear a mask. We're going to see if people switch over to a different group. I mean, they made a calculated business decision that involved the removal of the mask.
Yeah. Now, I just, and there, to me, the federal government had no business in this dictating now, I mean, if they were wanting to do what they want to do, they'd have you wearing 3 masks right now, or at least 2 for Fauci and 3 if you live in the UK.
Right.
But individual businesses, entities have that right to do what they want based on the guidelines given by the CDC and say, hey, if you're going to shop here, be here, do whatever you want. But here's the parameters. Like you said, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Right.
But to sit back and watch the arguments on social media yesterday devolve into, well, you just don't care about others if you don't wear a mask.
Right.
I sat back and I was just like, this is idiotic, people.
Totally agree.
We lost the ability to think for ourselves and make our own decisions and care for ourselves. Again, certain places have that right to say, here's what, if you want to come through these doors, here's what we're going to do. They have that right.
Right.
And you can decide whether or not that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and if you don't want
But to
do it, then
belittle
don't do
somebody
it.
just because they don't want to, I mean, a year ago when this thing had already been over here for 4 months, as we're finding out, maybe 5 months, even longer, nobody was wearing masks. Nobody was doing anything. But the cure has become worse than the disease in many aspects. And as I pointed out yesterday, and I can find that information and post it later, but the government of Alberta, which has had, fewer deaths, and they're still panicking up there like COVID is the worst scourge to ever face the earth. But they found and these numbers are astronomical, and I can't remember the exact percentages, so I won't give them. But way higher is the rate of death of young males, like 20 to 45, I think was the age group given,
Youngsters.
of non-COVID related death. And these are people that are otherwise healthy. They're dying from suicides. They're dying from higher rates of overdose. These are statistics.
They're despondent.
Yes.
They're despondent by their businesses being closed.
High rates of unemployment now. I mean, these are, and this was just one age group and one demographic. But the rates of death are far beyond what they consider normal.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's not alarming to anybody. It's barely getting any traction.
Yeah, we talked about, in fact,
if it's going on there, it's going on here too, folks. People are dying that shouldn't be dying because they're locked in their homes, afraid to go anywhere because they'll get shamed if they do, shamed if they don't.
I heard Glenn Beck talk about the increased rate of suicide, and it's a major, major number. I mean, it's a big deal. Roy Gutierrez checks in. Good morning, my friend. Madeline Mayer says she's going today to get her first dose. Let's take a break. We'll tell you a little bit about HR1.
Yeah.
When we come back, Texas Coast Limo, 575 Limo. Reach out to our buddy Bob Constantine. You need a ride somewhere. You got a wedding, you got a big party, you got an event. You want to show up in style. These are not like some old, Lincoln Continental with just some parts hanging off of it and a dull paint job. These are beautiful, shiny, brand new limos. And Bob Constantine and his team are ready to entertain you. It just puts that extra flair. We've become such a casual society. Many businesses, don't wear ties anymore and all that. When you get dressed up, it's a special event.
So make it t-shirt and shorts.
Right. Yeah, I'm happy. Make it memorable by getting with Bob Constantine, Texas Coast Limo at 575 Limo. He'll cut you a great deal.
Yeah, they've got the wedding trolley, they've got party buses of all sizes, they've got limos to accommodate your needs. They can do it all.
Right. You can also go over to the Atzenoffer dealership, atzenoffer.com. Since 1926, Victoria's dealer has been selling Chevys. They've since added Cadillacs, Mazdas, Mitsubishis. They literally have a vehicle for every price point. There's nothing to stop you from being an Atzenoffer customer.
For life.
For life.
As you move up the automobile food chain.
Absolutely. To where the Escalade eventually eats you. Go by. They do all models and makes of service. Doesn't matter where you got your car. Plus, they do paint and body. They do inspections. It's a full service, top of the line, world class, Victoria's own car dealer. White Trash Services, same thing. Best of the best of the best.
In 7 counties now.
550-1826. Reach out to the team headed by Scott and BJ Nelson. Great.
BJ and Scott.
Well, I'm just trying to give Scott a chance. Reach out to them. They do a tremendous job, and they'd love to do it for your family. They're a family serving families. 550-1826. That's White Trash Services. JP Hull, the folks at Razor IT Solutions, can help you with all your computer needs, website needs, encryption needs, data analysis needs, analytics, on. And half that stuff, I don't even know what it is, but I know that they do it. Reach out to him and let him help you maximize the efficiency of your website He can also help you collect funds over your website. He can help your Facebook page lead people to your website to buy merchandise. And he can also help you get all of that into your QuickBooks so that you can actually make a profit. And Complete 360, while you're having a smoothie from Complete 360, you can get your oil change at Addison Offer, and JP can be working on your analytics while Steve Kidder works on your will. That's how efficient Complete 360 is. Right over here across from us is the Health Bar. Smoothies, paninis, wraps,
Waffles.
fresh
Waffles.
waffles, and sugar-free syrup. It's all health-driven. It's all macro-based. Go by, tell them what you want to do. I don't want to have more than X number of calories. I want to have X number of grams of protein. I'm lifting weights today. I want something to help me be loose when I lift.
Can I have somebody lift them for me?
They've got it. Brandon Webb will go and lift the weights for you. Trust me, he's capable. Reach out to them. Or if you're on the north side, as you're walking, slathering, stumbling, bumbling, rumbling towards Buffalo Wild Wings, the grease
Hang a left.
luring you in, take a left and go over to Complete 360. It's a win-win. In and out quicker, in and out cheaper, in and out healthier at Complete 360. There you go. I want to talk to you, Ash.
Yeah.
I'll let these people listen. I'm concerned at 30,000 feet, at boots on the ground level, I'm concerned about this HR1. I'm concerned about the fact
Yep, I am too.
that no Republican, HR1 being a broad sweeping voter or election reform bill being floated out by the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi.
Who is behind this bill? Do we know?
Nancy
Was it
Pelosi.
Shirley Jackson Lee behind this one as well?
Could have been Shirley. I'm Shirley Jackson Lee. But the left has fronted out this bill that is a sweeping election reform that A, I believe election reform needs to happen. B, I believe it needs to happen at the federal level, even though it seems kind of to infringe on states' rights. I think there ought to be a minimum standard attributable, like everybody ought to have to provide voter ID. Everybody ought to be able to prove they're a United States citizen to vote. Everybody ought to vote in person unless they're encumbered physically or by age.
I'm not sure how a power bill proves your citizenship.
Right. So I'm all about that.
Stephen Myers asked a very good question that really has been avoided, and I didn't quite know how to phrase it. Why do we need election reform if nothing was amiss in the last election?
I have the answer, Kevin. I really do. And I'm glad you asked that. You'll notice that the Democrats are the ones that said nothing was amiss. And the Democrats are the ones floating out the election reform.
You know, when Republicans try to do this at the state level or local levels, they call it gerrymandering.
Here's the deal, Ash. I've read about this. Not one Republican voted for this bill. And one, a guy named, I think, Benny Thompson, one Democrat voted against it. But the number was like 230 to 210, okay, of people, the Democrats in lockstep, in basic, what did they call it when the Nazis did that? Goose stepping. They were goose stepping together as they voted for this. You see, the Democrats hold the House, and the Democrats hold the Senate, and the Democrats hold the presidency. So they're going to put in election reforms that essentially will make sure that only Democrats get elected.
They titled this the For the People Act.
Yeah, so you've got to be for that, right? It's the for the people act.
Well, because if you're against it, you're not for the people. Yeah. You're against the people.
Good morning, caller. Talk to us. Great question, but here you're leading right where I'm going. So let me finish what I'm going to tell you. I am all for a federal standard that says you must, as we said, you got to be able to prove you're an American. You got to, live in the state you vote in for more than 6 months, whatever those general accepted things are. But if you're going to try to put in voter reform, that I heard a Republican representatives say yesterday, this rule, this law, will essentially preclude the election of any Republican to any major office ever again. The idea is that you should have to have a consensus. It should be a bipartisan deal that says these are the rules we want to implement, and we all have to agree. It can't be a deal where the party in power says, oh, we're going to do this, and there's nothing y'all can do about it. And oh, by the way, it pretty much guarantees that we will be in power from now on. That's not right. That's not American. And I'm telling you that at going back up to 30,000 feet, BJ, when you have a party that puts rules in place to guarantee their reelection, Vlad Putin, they have open elections in Russia. He just always wins. When you put in rules to make sure you win the election, when you demonize anybody from the past that doesn't think the way you think now, Dr. Seuss, when you pull books off the shelves like To Kill a Mockingbird because it has the N word in it, although the entire book is against racism. When you start telling kids that they've got to do this at school, or they can't do that at school, or you've got to use CNN, when you brainwash our children with your curriculum, at the very best, you're socialist. In reality, you're being led like sheep and you're voting yourselves into communism. And at the end of the day, it's just totally un-American. There's nothing fundamentally American about any of this. The party that burns the books, the party that bans, that demonizes the authors, the party that turns around and makes excuses for a clown like Cuomo, the party that ensures their reelection through federal legislation is the party of unity, as they call my governor a Neanderthal. Now, I might call him an idiot. That's my right. He's my governor. But I don't need the president of the United States being, given an adrenaline shot to wake his dumb ass up. He gets off Air Force One, stands on the tarmac and says, I want to thank my great friend, Governor Abbott, for having me here. And then the next day calls him a Neanderthal. Folks, if you believe in the Democratic Party and the leadership of this country at this time, you are a fool. You're a sheep. You're being led to slaughter. All of your rights are at risk.
Worse than that, to me, it's again the deflection. Well, the Republicans, they're the party of the Nazis. They want to ban your books, your speech, blah, 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 blah.
While the Democrats do it. I never once heard Donald Trump say, well, they need to take that book off the shelves. I'm Donald Trump. Never happened. Now they're telling you how to think. They're telling you that
what to read, what to listen to, what you can say, what you can't say.
And you know what? And I know BJ's still there because BJ, she'll take the mic in a second. I know that there's not enough people, and the Democrats know that there's not enough Republicans to stand up. Just like they know that there's not enough quote unquote Christians who will really put it out there and say, no, we're not going to do that in this country. Because as Barack Obama announced, we're not a Christian nation anymore. You people are being led like I am to slaughter. You now work for the state already. They're going to raise your taxes. You already work for the state for 4 or 5 months a year if you make any money at all. The numbers are staggering. Now they're already talking about repealing. Remember when, I guess, and I could be wrong, one of the Bushes maybe expanded the money that you could leave in your will? Your inheritance tax was raised way. They're talking about lowering that number. They're going to drop that back down to like 6 million or less. Don't have any money in this country because the government is after it.
Well, you can't put it anywhere else because that's against the law now too.
That's exactly right. There's nothing to write off. You don't write off. I don't write off anything.
Can't anymore.
Folks, we're in deep trouble. Deep trouble. And you've already seen in however many days it's been that Joe Biden is just, doing executive order after executive order and mumbling and bumbling and stumbling. Have you heard a word out of Mike Pence? You heard a word out of Kamala Harris? Biden is just the puppet. She's just sitting up there, and Soros and the other idiots that try to manipulate the world are telling him exactly what to do. And we are doing nothing but watching it. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. Is in 2 years, will it be too late to rally and say, we've got to make sweeping changes in the House and Senate?
Could be.
They're fixing to affect your voting ability. Unbelievable. BJ, how are things at White Trash Services today? I think you have to be aware. I think you have to be aware of what's going on. It is so easy to see. Let's get in power. Let's make it so they can't wrestle power from us. And let's do it under the name of the For the People Act. Because if I'm against that, then I'm against the people. How can I be against that act? Because you're a right-wing, white privileged,
Don't care about anybody but yourself, not
You're
the people.
heterosexual male who's married. You're the worst person on earth because you can't relate to my problems. Tell you what, you too. Thanks for calling, BJ. Yeah, no kidding though. If this doesn't get your blood boiling, and man, BJ, she stays on a low simmer all the time. But if this doesn't get your blood boiling, you're just not thinking. I miss Donald Trump. I miss the illusion of freedom in this country. You are not free. Don't kid yourself.
I figured out why they were so much against his tax cuts, and it wasn't because they claim, well, he made his friends rich. The rich got richer. What happened was he eliminated the write-off for states who have income tax to write that income tax off on the federal income taxes.
Right.
That's why they got mad, because who does that affect mostly?
The rich.
New York, California, Illinois.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some others, but you look at where the balance of power is in the blue states, it's those three states. No longer could those people in those three states write off their exorbitantly high income taxes in those states because those states have been mismanaged for so long.
Then you get into a deal where, and you've got to kind of follow the rabbit, just topics that Ash and I have hit on the last couple of weeks. So here's the deal. Nobody really cares because at the base level of our young people who aren't idealistic anymore, they're all brainwashed by video games and synthetic weed. Everybody now they just want, all they care about is that the government lets them go to college for free. And that if they have student debt, that the government pays it. They haven't figured out yet, they're paying it with dollars that you're going to have to give back to the government. But guess what? You're going to get a $15 an hour minimum wage job, living wage job, because you're going to work for the government. You're going to work for the government. You're going to not only go to college for free, you're going to come out and work for the government. Well, and they're going to give you health care too that'll cover anything that doesn't require, anything important. So they're going to take care of you, cradle to grave. The government is free.
And they'll send you to an early grave if they determine you're too old. And that procedure could probably be better used and better served by somebody who's 20 instead of 70.
You're 55 and you can no longer work on the line. Oh, well, that kidney transplant, that's got to go to a younger person who can still work. We only have so many. You sheep are not getting it. You're not getting, the American dream is on hold.
It's on life support right now.
I'm telling you, you're a fool. If you sit around and believe, oh, this will be great, the government's going to relieve, and they're not going to make me pay my loans back.
Congressional Budget Office with the $15 minimum wage came out and said we're gonna have, I believe it was 900,000 people will be lifted out of poverty.
Right.
With the $15 an hour minimum wage.
How many jobs lost?
1.4 million.
So 500,000 people are put back into poverty.
Or at least on the verge of it.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, the net. Yeah.
Yeah.
And potentially all 1.4 million who lost their jobs.
See, and here's the deal. Ricky uses the phrase, Ricky uses the phrase, these evil people are doing. What you've got to remember is, folks, Congress is immune to this. They're immune to it.
They got their own health care. You can bet they won't be on the people's health care.
No, they've never. Guess what? It's never been suggested that no member of Congress has ever said, "I'm voting for Obamacare and I'm signing my family up today." You know why? Because they've got a country club health care plan. How can that be? We don't need to elect royalty in this country. We need to elect servants and servant leaders.
But think about it. We've been doing it forever. Remember the whole Camelot thing, right? I mean, we've ascribed, for whatever reason, even though we try to get away from the monarchy, we've tried to ascribe our own presidents, such as the Kennedys and Camelot, to that sort of status. We've done it.
Well,
We've lived into that. I mean, they have personal protection, unlike probably any other leaders in the world except for the monarchy.
Absolutely. And I was looking up here at what Adam Daughtry said. Watch the man in the high castle. No kidding. Yeah. It's unbelievable, folks. It's not a good day.
Chris Conrad says Texas needs to just leave.
I'd love it. I would love. I may just get some T-shirts made up that just say "secede" on them. SECEDE. I would leave in a heartbeat. There is. I'll tell you this. Aside from the military, that's a big one now. That one matters. But aside from the military might of the United States of America, which, by the way, I would think we could be a friendly neighbor, just like Canada. Trust me, Canada relies heavily on the military might of the United States of America. I would say there's absolutely nothing that I need from the federal government. I want you to think about that. I'd take my chances with my neighbors without FEMA, rather than be subservient to a dictator in D.C.
I mean, think about it. It's become, we had a winter ice storm last week.
Feds didn't help us. Feds held us back.
2 weeks ago, right? Feds shouldn't help you.
I agree.
I don't believe it was a national disaster or a federal emergency.
No.
A lot of local emergencies, a lot of personal emergencies. But how is the federal government responsible for the fact that my pipes froze or my well froze or that I didn't have power? Well, the power thing, the federal government probably was responsible for that because they were a bunch of jackholes and didn't allow Texas to just blow power to get through it. But where does the federal government have responsibility because the pipes under my home froze or cracked or broke? They don't.
Exactly. Steve Kidder points out, see, I love his angles. He says, we'll be fine militarily. We'll qualify for foreign aid, probably turn a profit.
We probably would benefit from foreign aid from the U.S. more so than we do now.
I think now more than ever, I'll tell you, I'll ask you this. You guys that are commenting, would you be willing?
Call us, 575-9509.
Would you be willing to pay 10% more than the taxes you pay right now to be the country of Texas? Would you pay more, that 10% directly earmarked to maintaining infrastructure, replacing the federal funds that we do get?
And here's the sad thing. I immigrated to this country 26 years ago.
Is that what you called it? You came in over the ice fence? You tunneled
over the ice bridge between Alaska and Russia.
He came during the 3 weeks of spring in Calgary, Alberta, because otherwise the ground is frozen solid.
Yeah. Actually, we didn't. But
we'll get to your immigration ramblings in a second. Good morning, caller. Thanks for bailing this segment out. How are you? James Kurtz. Okay, and now for the liberal perspective. Probably not. I like it. There you go. Sean Brett says taxes don't have to go up if the money's spent appropriately. Hey,
All right,
thanks,
appreciate it,
James. We love James Kurth. Long-time listener, multi-time caller.
But what seems to be lost, at least in this country, because it seems to still be there for others who are trying to get here and achieve the American dream, is that lure of the American dream.
Yeah.
I had a degree. Cheryl had a nursing diploma, they call it. It's 3 years to become an RN in Canada instead of 2 at the community college level like it is here. And BSNs really didn't exist back then for nursing. But you're in school for another year. And because there's no private health care, there were no jobs for nurses upon graduation. We had an opportunity to come here because the U.S. had a need of nurses and healthcare professionals. And as part of the free trade agreement, they were allowing credentialed, degreed RNs to come in and doctors and others in the healthcare profession and spouses to join them. Couldn't work legally, and it didn't work illegally either because it's just not how I roll. But the lure and the allure of the opportunity that America had to offer us was the first thing that attracted us here, right?
Yep.
And the ability to work as hard as we want to, pursue our dreams, and make something of ourselves without the government controlling it and saying, well, you know what, we get a budget cut, there goes healthcare, we're cutting 2,000 nursing jobs tomorrow. Because it doesn't seem to happen down here. But that lure of the American dream is going by the wayside.
You guys were kind of like Sonny and Cher.
A little bit.
She was the good-looking one.
Well, yeah, still is.
It's interesting to me
I'm the
that
short, untalented one.
your point is serious and your point is well made, but I do want to point out, folks, the benevolence of Ash never ceases to amaze me. Sure, we're married. Yeah, let's go on down there. I won't work because I'm a law-abiding citizen wannabe. I'll just sleep till 10 while you work 3 shifts at the hospital. Attaboy, Ash, way to give. You're such a giver. You're such a giver. Tell you what,
Stayed home with the kids.
real quick, folks, for your next event, do reach out to Cheryl. Reach out to Cheryl at the Gray Barn, 920-6803. Cheryl will help you with your event, help you plan it. You can have a decidedly American theme. She can do Western themes, anything you want done. She does weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs. She'll do your Kinsey. She knows it all. She's got her own gear. She can make it look nice. You'll be glad you use them. USA Concrete Coatings, Charlie Garcia and his team will come in, square up, clean up, fill the cracks in your garage floor, put down a beautiful coat that'll last forever. You will not go wrong by dialing 578-HOME, HOME, and reaching out to them. Make sure the lights stay on with a generator from Went Services. Whether you need a big Kohler water-cooled unit, 24 kW and bigger, or
Nice
you need
Generac 22 kW
There you
unit
go.
that'll power pretty much anything you need.
there you
To
go.
get you through hurricane
Cummins, Briggs
season.
and Stratton, portable. They've got them all. Makes no sense to be without power. And then, of course, did we talk about Dana Moore?
Not yet, no.
Wow.
Let's do it now.
Got to do that. Dana Moore Delagarza can come out and help you and your family prepare for the inevitable. We already talked about the inevitable taxes. Death follows that. Some people get taxed after their death. That's called Democrats. Reach out to Dana Moore Delagarza. She can help you with everything from a plot to making sure your wishes are fulfilled to making sure that you get the type of coffin you want, whatever you want, the service you want. She can do it all in the privacy of your home and help you pay for it in advance so that your loved ones aren't burdened at the time of your passing.
And Terry Murray can help you achieve the ultimate symbol of the American dream, your own home.
Motto
Homeownership.
Mortgage. Reach out to Motto Mortgage and let her help you with a refi or a new home. She can help you with multiple, VA, FHA, conventional, government, the military.
VA financing, conventional
Endless.
FHA. They've got reverse mortgages as well.
All my mortgages have been high risk, asterisk,
Junk
unsecured.
bonds.
Yeah, they're all, Hey,
a bevy of lenders to choose from, and they will compete for your business and give you the best interest rate that they can
Absolutely.
and help you for any of whether you're trying to get money out of your home, whether you're trying to lower your term, lower your payments, refinance, get out of that home quicker. Terry's the one to call. Motto Mortgage, right there in Navarro between Jason's Deli and Sally's Beauty Supply. You can't miss them.
And
But here's the other thing. When we got here, we couldn't go on any government assistance, right? Had to sign a sworn affidavit saying we would not. If we did, we could be deported.
those days are over. You can take government assistance now while you're waiting.
Not
to make
legally.
decisions. I bet you can.
I bet you can if you come here legally.
Is that? Oh, if you come here legally, you can't.
No, that was part of it.
There you go.
But I got to think. I substitute taught. As soon as I could work, I did what I could to find work. I was registered with Labor Ready.
Did you actually get up there and go, "Good morning, class. I am Mr. Wall Yachow. Let's say it together. Wall Yachow."
Yep.
Did you really? W-A-L-Y. I mean, it took half the class just to get them to be able to spell your name.
Oh yeah, I put it on the board in Russian. Made a
Little known the
language.
years they had dropped the skiwitz off the end. It was Wojciechowskiewicz. It was everybody knew it.
cough.
Cough.
Vodnikov.
Volkov. Yeah, they changed it at Ellis Island.
when
Yeah.
Cheryl and I drove to Ellis Island from Canada.
So you know what's going to bail us out, though,
Well,
folks?
I want to give a shout out to Victoria Electric Co-op. I'm on the co-op. My power bill was a little bit higher, not astronomical, but I had a good discussion with Blaine Morzeka, the executive director of, I think I'm probably screwing up his title, of Victoria Electric Co-op. Our co-op was situated so well into this that, and he was telling me this the other day, that we actually made money during the freeze.
They had bought the options properly.
Yeah. Membership bought into the plan. I tell you what, Blaine is
Morzeka, great guy.
great guy, great leader for this co-op. And because I point blank asked him when I saw the news about, Brazos Electric Cooperative, the oldest, largest cooperative in the state of Texas, filing for bankruptcy protection because they got a power bill from ERCOT of like $2 billion or something like that.
I'm convinced that's symbolic.
And could be. But he said, oh, no, we're far from that. We're not even close to that because of the steps we took.
I will tell
And
you.
I just got to give a shout out to Blaine and the leadership
Good
there
job.
because that was, and I don't think I know they've tried. I don't know that they've done enough to tell their consumers and others, their customers, their members, what they did to possession themselves in this because, and I understand it. It was cold. I was running the heat before we lost our power for a day, and afterwards, but I mean, they did a phenomenal job. And when Blaine explained it to me as to why we were in a position to not have $600-700 a month power bills, I was like, wow.
Smart and lucky. I reached out to a VEC board member.
That's just smart planning.
And I asked him, I said, I was really proud of the effort of VEC. And he said to me, we're very fortunate. The symbol, the vision that people have is that guy in the freezing cold climbing the power pole to restore power. He said, but man, you can't imagine the verbal onslaught that was absorbed by the ladies in the office. And hats off to those folks who also were away from their families saying, yes, sir, we'll get there as soon as we can, sir. And apparently there were, and it's going to happen. There's a couple of turds in Victoria, but there's going to be some verbal abuse to these people that, I want my power on now. Well, duh, who doesn't?
Yeah.
But I have to give a hats off to those folks that work in the office over at VEC, to all of our city and county employees. Victoria is a special place. It really is. Good people doing good things. Except the VEDC. So, Brother Gary, could you come over here? We always like to finish on a high note. I'm sorry today was like
a Friday warm-up show.
A revolution of bad news, but it is a bad news.
It was bad news. It was just it was eye-opening observances that needed to get out there.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. Good to be with you, boy. Beautiful day outside.
Perfect day. It's a Brother
Shaping
Gary
up to be
Moses
one.
day.
Yeah, it's just good to be.
You'll be able to loosen that tie and roll the sleeves up and get a little sun on those
There you
arms.
go. What's that?
That's what his statue is going to look like. You know that Brother Gary Moses will have a statue one day, and he's going to be walking. It's going to be in step, moving. He's going to be moving forward, and that tie is going to be rippling in the wind, blowing over his shoulder.
Just match the tie.
That's the way, right. That's right. Now, did you wear a tie every day when you taught?
Yes, I
But
do.
now, did all male teachers wear a tie every day when they
we first
taught?
started, Brad, your mother knows this. And when we first started, the few men that were there wore ties. Except the coaches, and when the coaches came in, they put a tie on.
Clip on.
That's the way it was.
Isn't that something?
We wore ties. You had to have a shirt and a tie, man.
Isn't that
Look back,
something?
and I stuck with that too. You know?
Judge Posey said, "Good morning,
So did
brother."
Bob Constantine and a whole bunch of others. So yeah, we know.
We
who the
pass
real
that along.
Carter
He
Show is.
loves all you guys, and he knows you listen. So
I do, and I say good morning, and God bless you all, and thank you for that. Thank
You know, we missed something, and I would be remiss if I just didn't do this because it's been a while. So
yeah, hang on a second, brother.
because you know it's been a while since you've been here,
We
brother.
had some guests on a Thursday.
We have, but I want to bring you back properly.
Spanning the
I
globe
love it.
to tell you a little bit about everything, the brother man.
Thank you.
Where's the applause?
Whenever, there we go.
Audience, please
Okay, all right.
join us, audience.
What is up with the audience?
Join us, audience.
It is a
I
pleasure.
don't
We
know
just
where they
don't
went.
have- just hit the breaking glass. That'll be the same thing.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
It's good. Thank you, guys, and it's good to be with y'all. And it is a beautiful day. Did you know that Association of Builders and Contractors golf tournament is tomorrow? You played in that.
I have played in that.
And it's
Poorly.
tomorrow, Country Club. There's 2 flights, 8 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Judge Posey knows about the country club. He's there many times.
Oh yeah,
And so they have that. And if it's like this, it
should be a
Yeah, it's
great day.
gonna be great weekend.
Let's see what tomorrow's weather's supposed to be.
Check that out. It should be good. Christy
Yeah.
Stevenson said it's going to be nice out there.
54 to 81 tomorrow, so looking good.
I'll catch it after. You know, Cody, I said he used to, and Cody would be out there and we'd be on the green. And Cody know about golf, but he was good. It was out
Right.
there. I love him.
Making dents in the green out there.
And then on
Little
Saturday-
Cody tracks all over the green.
He cracks me up.
Oh,
Look at
he
him.
is funny.
He looks at me, he starts laughing.
He's funny. He knows.
He's great. And then on Saturday, I want to mention this with Carson Coffee downtown, over there around Pasadena, Villa Farm.